The sky hung heavy with a crimson sunset as rancher Elias Ward rode across the valley, his horse kicking dust into the warm autumn air. Elias was a quiet man, known more for his silence than his words, but respected for his grit and honesty. He had lost much in life, his wife to sickness, his land to drought, and his peace to memories that clawed at him at night. The only thing left that anchored him to each morning was his horse, Sage. A strong brown mare with intelligent eyes that had carried him through storms, cattle drives, and loneliness. On this particular evening, Elias had been out searching for strays along the riverbank, when he heard a faint cry carried across the wind. It wasn't the cry of an animal, no. It was human. Weak. Broken. Pleading. Elias paused, listening, his heart tightening. He followed the voice, spurring Sage forward through the brush until he spotted movement near the water's edge. There, collapsed among reeds, lay a young man, no more than 20, shivering, soaked, and clutching his side where blood seeped through a torn shirt. Elias dismounted in an instant and knelt beside him, his voice low and steady. "Easy now," he said, pressing a hand to the boy's wound. "Name." The boy's lips trembled as he whispered, "Caleb." The name hit Elias like a hammer. Caleb. That was his son's name, his son who had run away 2 years ago after an argument that left both hearts shattered. Elias swallowed hard, forcing himself to stay calm. What happened? Caleb's breath rattled. Rustlers. We fought. I ran. They shot me. I tried to make it home. His voice broke. Elias slowly realized the shocking truth: this was his son. His own flesh and blood, battered, lost, and bleeding out before him. The world seemed to tilt, memory flooding back, the anger in their last argument, the slammed door, the emptiness afterward. Elias had never forgiven himself. And now, fate had dragged the boy back into his arms, broken and dying. Elias worked quickly, removing his coat and pressing it against the wound, lifting Caleb carefully onto Sage, holding him steady as they rode toward the ranch. Caleb gritted his teeth, his face pale with pain. "Pa," he whispered for the first time in years. Elias's chest tightened, his voice hoarse. "I'm here, boy. I've got you." The ride felt endless. The sun sank lower, the cold crept in. When they reached the cabin, Elias laid Caleb gently on the worn bed. He lit a lamp, fetched water, and tried to clean the wound, but the bullet was deep, the bleeding constant, the damage too severe. Caleb's body trembled violently. His breath came in sharp gasps, pain etched deep across his face. He looked at his father with eyes full of fear, regret, and longing. "Pa, it hurts so bad. I can't take it." Elias's hands shook. He had seen wounded cattle. He had seen dying horses. He had mercy-killed animals suffering beyond saving. But this was his son. Caleb grabbed Elias's wrist weakly, his voice broken. "Pa, please, please. I don't want to die slow." Elias's heart stopped. "Don't say that." Caleb's tears mixed with sweat on his skin. "I know. I can feel it. I ain't got long. Pa, please. I beg you. Make it quick." Elias staggered back, his breath trembling. "No. I can't. Caleb. I just got you back." Caleb's voice cracked into sobs. "Then don't let me go like this, please." Elias felt the cabin closing in, the weight of years crushing his chest. He walked to the mantel where his revolver hung. His hand hovered, shaking. His vision blurred. He remembered Caleb as a child, laughing, riding Sage with his arms wide like wings. He remembered his boy at 12, trying to rope his first calf. He remembered the day he told Caleb he wasn't ready to run his own cattle. How Caleb's pride had flared. How harsh words had flown. If only he had held his tongue. If only he had said he was proud. Elias returned to the bedside slowly. the gun heavy in his hand as though the steel had taken on the weight of his regret. Caleb reached out with weak fingers, brushing his father's arm. His voice was small, almost a whisper. "Thank you, Pa." Elias fell to his knees, tears finally breaking free, his voice raw. "I'm so sorry, son. I'm so sorry for everything." Caleb managed the ghost of a smile. "I know. I love you, Pa." The rancher leaned his forehead against his son's, their tears mixing. Outside, the wind rustled through the prairie grass, gentle and mournful. The sky had gone dark, stars trembling faintly overhead. Elias lifted the revolver slowly. His hand steady now, not from strength, but from love. His voice, when it came, was soft, broken, and full of every heartbeat he had ever lived. "It'll be quick, son." Caleb closed his eyes. The cabin fell silent. A single, merciful shot echoed across the valley. And then only the wind remained. Later, under the cold starlight, Elias buried his boy beneath the oak tree where Caleb had once carved his initials as a child. Sage stood nearby, head bowed. Elias placed a hand on the grave marker and whispered, "I'll carry you with me. Every step." He returned to the cabin. Alone once more, but now with a heart no longer locked in bitterness, but open to grief, love, and memory. His son was gone, but their bond remained. Stronger than pain, stronger than death. Strong enough to echo through the rest of his days. And every sunrise that followed seemed to say, "Forgiveness always comes late, but it still matters." The days after the burial moved like molasses, slow and heavy, each sunrise arriving without warmth. Elias tried to continue his chores, but every familiar place reminded him of Caleb, the fence post they repaired together, the creek where they raced twigs downstream, the oak tree where the soil was still fresh. Grief sat in his chest like a branding iron pressed too deep. One evening, as Elias fed Sage, he noticed the mare stomping anxiously, ears pinned toward the hills. A shadow moved near the fence line, two men on horseback, rifles visible in the fading light. Rustlers. The same kind who hunted Caleb. Rage flared. But grief held him steady. He didn't charge. He didn't shout. He waited. The men rode closer, laughing, unaware of who lived there. Elias stepped forward, shotgun balanced in his hands. His voice low and cold as stone. "You boys lost." The laughter died. The men recognized his face, maybe from whispers, maybe from guilt. One shifted in his saddle. "We didn't mean," Elias cut him off. "My boy." "Did he beg?" The younger rustler swallowed hard. Silence answered. Elias didn't raise the gun. Instead, he spoke softly, almost too softly. "I buried him under that oak." The rustler's bravado crumbled. "We were wrong," one choked. Elias nodded slowly. "Then live different." The men turned and rode into the dusk, leaving dust and regret behind. Sage brushed her head against Elias's shoulder, as if to say she understood. Elias looked toward the oak, the stars rising above it. Caleb's voice lingered in the wind, not in pain now, but in peace. And for the first time since that night, Elias whispered back, "I ain't done trying, son. Not yet."